everybody, Rose Coleman popping back in here in Calgary, Alberta with my Facebook Friday Live. This is a recorded video today just because I am at Onstage in Orlando, and I went ahead and I'm not sure if I could actually go live while I'm in Orlando, so I went ahead and recorded this video for you guys, and I hope you like the card I'm about to share with you. So let's get started. And actually, I just want to mention about our draw. So when I'm back on Monday, I will do the draw for everybody who shares this video. So feel free to share the video you're about to see, and I will get back to you on Monday with the door prize winners, or the prize winners, whoever shared the video. So have a fantastic weekend, and let's get started on the project. Here we go. Okay, so what I have for you today is carrying on with my product of the week, which is the Snow is Glistening stamp set. You can see right here. This one is a new product that was introduced only for the month of November. So it's while supplies last. So if you like the stamp set and the matching Thinlits I'm about to show you, and there's some other products too I'm going to show you, you should get this before it goes out of stock. Okay, so this is only a limited supply item. So let's get started. I have here in front of you, you can see all the Thinlits. Now there's 20 dies included in this one. So this is called the Snowfall Thinlit dies, and I'm in love with this one. This one here, this big long one with all the snowflakes. So if you put that on the side of a card, you really only need a little greeting to make it pop. And this big snowflake has been the centerpiece of several cards I've made this week. And there's so many tiny little snowflakes in here, and it's just a keeper. For sure it's a keeper, for me anyway. Outlines of snowflakes, you could do a solid one, you can do details, lots and lots of fun with this one. So let's get started. For my card today, I did use this snowflake here. It's kind of like the medium-sized snowflake of all these ones. So I'm just gonna set this aside for a second, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a frame. Okay, so we're gonna have a Night of Navy card base. Okay, so it measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it down the center at 4 1/4. So I'll set that aside for a second. Now with this card, I'm gonna do the front of my card measures 4 by 5 1/4, but I want to cut a frame. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my Big Shot here. And I've got, this is what I'm using today is our shimmery white. I'm not sure if you can see that shimmer, but it just has such a gorgeous little amount of shine to it. I'm going to lay that down on the magnetic platform. I'm going to go grab my other cutting plate, my top cutting plate. I'm going to bring in 2 different squares. So let's flip it over here. So the inside square is from our layering square framelits, and the outside is going to be from our stitched framelits. And I'll show you why I'm going to do that in a second, why I'm using 2. I'm just going to lay this up here on there, and I want to put this one fits right inside. So I'm going to cut them both at the same time, like that. Roll it through. And when I take this apart, now what I'm going to have the inside square, which I'll just put that aside for later. And then I can take my framelits out. And now I have this nice little frame with the stitches. Can you see the stitches all the way around? Now I'm going to use that on my card. Okay, so I'm going to put that back in place in a second. But now we're going to get rid of our pieces and the Big Shot, and I'm going to bring in some watercolor paper. Okay, so I've got a piece of watercolor paper that is slightly smaller than my front Whisper or Shimmery White. So this measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to lay that down there. I'm going to bring in a product that we haven't used for a long time. I did feature it when we first went live with Brusho, or Stampin'Up first started carrying it. So Brusho Crystal Color, and I'm going to pull out the one that's called Prussian Blue. So Crystal Color, this little jar is full of these little microscopic granules. Well, some of them are microscopic, some of them are larger, but they're all different sizes, and they basically are little explosions of color when water hits them, okay? So I'm just going to cover up my little sign here so I don't get all spritzed. I'm going to take the plug out. So you don't want to open this jar up. If you do, the powder would just go everywhere. So I just keep a little thumbtack in the top of my brusho. I'm going to tip up the jar like this. I just have a single hole. I'm just going to tap, 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 maybe a couple times like that. Now, I'm not sure if you can see, I'll lift up the paper. I'm just going to put the plug back in my brusho. I'll lift up the paper and show you. So it's just some little dry granules on there. I'm going to leave that down on my work surface. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Spritzer, which I've filled with water. And I'm going to just spritz that brusho. And let me just see if I can come in a bit closer and you can see on the camera what happens when I spritz it with water. The little explosions of color are just amazing. So here I go. I'm going to spritz it and you can see there's the blue starting to come through. And the more you spritz it, the more that color just wants to explode. And the watercolor paper is so forgiving. It just absorbs the water. It will run to the edge and it'll dry, but I just love it. Every time I do it, it looks different, okay? It's just such a beautiful, beautiful technique. And if you have any other dry granules, you can keep spritzing it. If you don't like this puddle that happens on the side, you can always bring in a tissue or something like this and just kind of dry up the excess water if you've used too much. But honestly, I've let it dry, and what happens is it does bow when it's wet, but it'll go flat out again when it dries, okay? So I just kind of let it do its thing, and I've never been disappointed. So you can see how it's all, the blue is just totally saturated the paper, and it is warped, but if I lay it down on this work surface and I move it off to the side, it will dry, and it will dry flat, okay? So I'm just going to move that over here, and for the purpose of my video, I did do one that was dry. I'm just going to get rid of this and have some fresh grid paper. So I do have a piece that I spritzed earlier, and I let it dry on its own, and here it is. So you can see all that beautiful blue. Now I probably used a few more granules than the one I just showed you, but it's all good. I actually only need a little spot because this is going to go behind my frame. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put this down onto my cardstock base. And the watercolor paper is quite thick, so I'm going to use a fair bit of adhesive, probably more than I would use if I was just using Whisper White. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to put that down onto my card, just like that. And that frame that I used, oh, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my snowflakes. Remember I was telling you how I had cut the medium-sized snowflake? This is it. I cut it out of the glimmer paper. Can you see that shine? Just love it. So we're going to stick that down onto our background. Just going to put a little bit of snail and stick the snowflake kind of like that. Just kind of, it looks like it's in the center, but when I put my frame over top, it's just going to be peeking through that window with the little blue in the background. This is a really, really simple card, but just a dramatic technique, I think, with the snowflake. I mean, I even think that snowflake looks beautiful just on the brusho background without putting a frame over top. But this is the card I designed for today, so we'll go with this for now. Okay, so I'm just going to put the frame over top, and it's going to have my little snowflake peeking through, just like that. So then the nice little stitched frame that I cut, I'm going to put that right over my window like that so it stands out and it makes a nice frame. Whoops, stuck onto my paper. It'll make a nice frame around my snowflake. So you can stick that down with, I'm actually going to use some glue dots, I think. You could lift it up on dimensionals and have it stand out, but I'm just going to use some glue dots just because we're sticking it onto, it's going to be on some glimmer paper there, it's going to be on the watercolor paper, and I want to make sure it stays down. So I'm going to use 4 glue dots, 1 in each corner. And I'm using my paper piercer. Actually, my take your pick tool is here. It's just over on the other side of my desk, but that's okay. I have a bunch of paper piercers that I always keep close by because I use them all the time when I'm using glue dots. So, okay, so I'm gonna put this back into the spot where I cut it out. And then I've just got a nice little subtle recessed frame with the snowflake poking out. And now we just need a greeting for our card. So in the stamp set, the snow is glistening. There's one down here that says, sending a blizzard of wishes for a wonderful season. So I have that one on my block. I think I'm gonna use that one. I like that one. You could do Merry Christmas to you and peace to all on earth. Peace on earth to all the world. I like that too. Actually, I think I'm gonna use that one. Oops, where is that one? It is, I've just got some red ink on it, so let me just clean that off. I've been playing with this set a lot, you guys. I love, love, love this set. And I've been making a bunch of cards this week. So this one has cherry cobbler ink still on it. There we go. Okay, so I've got it on my block, and I'm gonna bring in Night of Navy ink. I'm just gonna ink that up. Make sure it's nice and juicy, because you don't want it to be dull. Now, if I was using a Stamparatus, if I was making a bunch of these, you know, I would totally use my Stamparatus so that I could know that I'm completely straight, and if it wasn't dark enough, I can always go back and do it again multiple times without worrying. I think I featured that in my video last week. I love the Stamparatus. So there we go. Oh yeah, that looks sharp on there. I like that better than the smaller verse. So Merry Christmas to you and peace on earth. So my card's not quite complete yet. It needs an embellishment. So I was looking through all my embellishments, and I haven't used these much. These are called glitter enamel dots, and they have some nice blue ones. And I love how they're like an ombre. So they go from dark to light as you get all the different variations. So let's see, would this one be too big? No, I think that would go really nicely in the middle of my snowflake, like that. And then to just add a little more dimension and depth to the card, I can add a couple of more of these, and in different shades. I love that it's different shades. I can do one here, and then maybe even another one over here, like that. It's there. Very, very simple card using the Brusho as a background technique. And I think I could totally whip up a few of these. You could do all of your Brusho in one go. Just do all your tap, 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 all your spritz, let it dry. Those are your backgrounds, and this would be an easy card. You could even do your frame in a different color. It would look sharp, I think, in navy as well, Night of Navy. So there's my quick and easy card today using Brusho, which is a fun, fun, fun product. As you know, Brusho comes with all of these different colors. You get all the different, you get yellow, the brilliant red, the mossy green, the gamboge, and the one that I use, the Prussian blue. So fun, 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 and you will have enough Brusho to last you a lifetime. So I hope you like my card today, and I hope that you're going to have a great weekend coming up, and I'll be back on Monday to do my draw to see who shared my video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.